The last box of my life fit perfectly in the trunk of my beat-up Honda Civic. 15 years of marriage, reduced to cardboard containers and 2 suitcases. I stood in the driveway, keys dangling from my trembling fingers, when I heard their voices drift through the open window of what used to be my home. I always knew she wasn't good enough for my Damon. Michaela's voice sliced through the evening air. Now we can finally get rid of all traces of her artistic mess. I'm Elise, and this is how I lost everything I thought I had built. Well, almost everything. Mommy, can I bring Mr. Whiskers? My daughter Kylie's small voice called from the back seat, clutching her favorite stuffed cat. At least I hadn't lost what mattered most. Of course, sweetie. I managed a smile, though my chest felt like it was being crushed. The front door opened, and Michaela emerged, her perfectly coiffed silver hair catching the sunset. Still here? I thought I made it clear you needed to be gone by 6. Her lips curved into what others might mistake for a smile, but I knew better. We're leaving, I said, straightening my spine. Just making sure we didn't forget anything important. Important? She laughed, the sound like breaking glass. Everything important belongs to the family, and you, dear, are no longer family. My fingers curled into fists. Kylie is family. Oh, we'll see about that too. Her words hit like ice water. Damon's lawyer will be in touch about custody arrangements. Before I could respond, a sleek BMW pulled into the driveway. Damon stepped out, Harmony close behind him. 29, gorgeous, and everything I apparently wasn't anymore at 34. Dad, Kylie called out, but I touched her shoulder gently. Not now, sweetheart. We need to go. Damon at least had the decency to look uncomfortable. Elise, he started. Save it, I cut him off, climbing into the driver's seat. As I started the engine, I caught snippets of conversation through my open window. The gallery opening next month, Michaela was saying to someone on her phone. Make sure her name is removed from the list. In fact, let's make sure she's not welcome at any of the local exhibitions. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Art was my life, my career, my escape, and now she was trying to take that too. Where are we going? Kylie asked as we pulled away from the house. To Aunt Cadence's, I replied, forcing cheerfulness into my voice. Remember her? She's got that cool studio where you can paint whatever you want. Can we paint unicorns? All the unicorns in the world, baby. The drive to Cadence's small apartment took 20 minutes, each one feeling like an hour. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I checked it at a red light. Heard about your situation. Michaela's making calls. She's telling everyone you stole from the family. Better watch your back. A friend. My stomach churned. In our small town, Michaela's influence ran deep. She sat on every important board, attended every significant social event, and controlled more than just the art scene. Cadence was waiting outside when we pulled up, her wild curly hair a mess as usual. She rushed to help with our bags. I've got the guest room ready, she said, hugging me tight. And my studio is your studio. I don't know how to thank you, I whispered, by not giving up. She grabbed a box. Oh, and Penny Thompson called me earlier. She's looking for new artists for her gallery. Penny? But she's the only gallery owner in town who doesn't kiss Michaela's ring? Exactly. Cadence winked. Sometimes the universe has a way of opening doors when others slam shut. Later that night, after Kylie was asleep in the guest bed, I sat on Cadence's balcony with a glass of wine. My phone kept lighting up with notifications, friends suddenly unfriending me on social media, cancellations for commissioned pieces, and one particularly nasty email from the local art association. I heard Michaela's planning to drive you out of town completely, Cadence said, joining me with her own glass. She's telling everyone you're unstable, that you threatened Harmony. I laughed bitterly. Of course she is. You know what the best revenge would be? Cadence leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Success. Real, undeniable success. The kind she can't touch. I took a long sip of wine, considering her words. Maybe she was right. Maybe losing everything was exactly what I needed to finally build something of my own. First thing tomorrow, I said. I'm calling Penny Thompson. No, no, absolutely not. I shook my head at Cadence as she tried to arrange my paintings at the local farmer's market. The sunset piece needs more light. 2 weeks had passed since the night we'd fled to her apartment. My hands were paint-stained again, and for the first time in days, I felt something close to normal. There. Cadence adjusted the display. Now, remember what I said. Price them like you mean it. No more underselling yourself. I was about to argue when a familiar tune caught my attention. Someone was humming Moon River, my grandmother's favorite song. I turned to find an elegant woman in her 50s, studying my largest canvas. This speaks to me, she said, tracing the air in front of the painting without touching it. The anger in these brushstrokes, but there's hope too, like a storm breaking. That's exactly what I was going for, I said, surprised by her insight. She turned, extending her hand. I'm Penny, and you must be Elise. My heart skipped. Penny Thompson? From the Grove Gallery? The very same. She smiled warmly. Cadence has told me about your work, and about your situation. I shot Cadence a look, but she was suddenly very interested in reorganizing my business cards. Don't be mad at her, Penny said. We need to stick together in this town, especially with Michaela throwing her weight around. You know Michaela? Penny's laugh was sharp. Oh, honey, everyone knows Michaela. She tried to shut down my gallery 3 years ago when I refused to feature her nephew's terrible photography. A young couple approached my booth, and I excused myself to help them. They were about to buy a small piece when the woman's phone buzzed. She checked it, whispered something to her partner, and they hurried away. Let me guess, Penny said. They got the mass text. What mass text? She pulled out her phone, showing me a message. Warning. Local artist Elise G sells fraudulent work. Pieces are copied from real artists. Avoid purchasing. My hands started shaking. She can't do this. She can't just... She can, and she is. Penny's voice was steel. But here's what we're going to do about it. For the next hour, Penny outlined her plan. Her gallery was hosting a major show next month, featuring women artists from across the state. I want you to be part of it, she said. But Michaela? Michaela doesn't control my gallery. Penny's eyes sparkled. And wait until you meet the other artists. There's something brewing in this town, something bigger than Michaela's petty revenge. Just then, Kylie came running up with Cadence's brother Terrence, who'd been watching her while I worked. Mom, look what I made. She held up a friendship bracelet, beaming. It's beautiful, sweetie. I knelt to examine it. I made one for you too, she said, tying it around my wrist. And one for Ms. Penny. Penny accepted the bracelet with genuine delight. You know, she said to me quietly as Kylie showed Terrence her other creations. My mother used to say that the universe speaks through children. They see truth we adults sometimes miss. She hummed Moon River again, and suddenly I was back in my grandmother's studio, watching her paint while singing that very song. How do you know that tune? I asked. Your grandmother taught it to me. Margaret was my first art teacher, back when I was just a girl with dreams bigger than this small town. My throat tightened. You knew my grandmother? She's the reason I opened the Grove. She always said art should be accessible to everyone, not just the social elite. Penny touched my arm. She'd be proud of you, you know, standing your ground. Later that evening, as I was packing up, a familiar BMW pulled into the parking lot. My heart raced as Damon stepped out. Elise, he said, looking uncomfortable. Can we talk? I think we said everything we needed to when you left. It's about Kylie. She's pushing for full custody. Says you're unstable, living with a friend, no steady income. Stop. My voice was stronger than I felt. Just stop. You want to talk about Kylie? Talk to my lawyer. I never wanted... What you wanted stopped mattering the moment you chose her over your family. I turned to Penny, who had appeared silently beside me. I'll see you tomorrow at the gallery? 9 sharp, she smiled. We have a show to plan. As Damon watched us walk away, Penny linked her arm through mine. You know what your grandmother would say right now? What? The best revenge is living well. But, she added with a wink, making amazing art that sells for thousands while your ex-mother-in-law watches helplessly is a close second. For the first time in weeks, I laughed, really laughed, and somewhere in that sound, I heard the beginning of something new taking shape. The Grove Gallery hummed with energy as I hung my final piece, a massive canvas depicting women rising from storm clouds, their faces both defiant and serene. 3 weeks of preparation had transformed the space into something magical. Perfect placement, Penny said, adjusting the spotlight. This one's going to be our centerpiece. A group of women gathered nearby, chatting excitedly. They were part of what we'd started calling the Collective, local female artists who'd been silenced or sidelined over the years. Some by Michaela, others by different forces, but all with stories that needed telling. Did you hear? Cadence rushed in, barely containing her excitement. The State Art Magazine is sending a reporter. Felicity just confirmed it. Penny's cousin Felicity, a journalist with connections throughout the art world, had been instrumental in spreading word about our show. Ladies, Penny called out, clapping her hands. Circle up. We need to discuss tonight's preview. 20 women formed a loose circle in the gallery's center. I recognized faces I'd known for years but never really known. Sarah from the coffee shop, who did incredible metal sculptures, Maria, who taught art at the high school, Rebecca, who'd been rejected from every local show for being too controversial. Tonight isn't just an art show, Penny continued. It's a statement. Each of you has something powerful to say, and finally, we're saying it together. The front door chimed, and we all turned to see Harmony standing there, looking uncertain. I'm sorry, she said quickly. I saw the lights on, and I love art, and I heard about the show. The room went silent. My heart pounded as everyone looked between us. Welcome, I said, surprising myself. Would you like a tour? Confusion crossed her face. Oh, you're Elise? In the flesh. She started to back away. I should go. I didn't know. Stay, Penny interjected. Art doesn't discriminate. Neither do we. As I showed Harmony around, something unexpected happened. She was genuinely moved by the work, asking intelligent questions, sharing her own love of painting. I used to paint, she admitted, but Michaela said it wasn't appropriate for someone in her family to pursue such an unstable career. Sounds familiar, Rebecca muttered nearby. Before Harmony left, she paused at my centerpiece. This is incredible, she said softly. I wish things were different. They can be, I replied. The preview event began at 7. The gallery filled quickly with collectors, critics, and locals curious about the buzz. I was discussing my technique with a potential buyer when Cadence grabbed my arm. Incoming, she whispered. Michaela just pulled up. Sure enough, Michaela swept in moments later, her designer dress and perfectly coiffed hair a stark contrast to our artistic, casual vibe. She stopped dead when she saw my centerpiece. What is this? She demanded, turning to Penny. You're featuring her work? I'm featuring 20 talented artists, Penny replied calmly, each chosen on merit alone. Merit? Michaela laughed. She's nothing but a failed housewife playing with paint. Actually, a deep voice interrupted, she's brilliant. A tall man in an expensive suit stepped forward. I'm Marcus from the State Gallery Board. We're very interested in several pieces here, particularly Ms. Elise's series. Michaela's face reddened. You can't be serious. She's creating exactly the kind of innovative, emotionally resonant work we're looking for, Marcus finished. In fact, we'd like to discuss a traveling exhibition featuring the collective. The room buzzed with excitement. I caught Harmony's eye across the gallery. She'd returned with several friends. She gave me a small, encouraging smile. This is absurd, Michaela sputtered. I've supported this town's art scene for decades. I've guided it, shaped it, controlled it, Penny corrected, but not anymore. One by one, women stepped forward, sharing stories of how Michaela had blocked their work, threatened their livelihoods, or demanded changes to their art to fit her vision. You'll regret this, Michaela hissed at me. All of you will. The only regret, I said loudly enough for everyone to hear, is how long we let one person dictate our artistic expression. That ends tonight. As Michaela stormed out, Felicity appeared with her camera. Smile, ladies. This is going on the front page of tomorrow's arts section. The rest of the evening was a blur of sales, conversations, and possibilities. By closing time, most of my pieces had sold, including the centerpiece to Marcus himself. "We did it," Cadence hugged me tight. "We actually did it." "This is just the beginning," Penny announced to our group. "The collective is real now. We're a force to be reckoned with." Later, as we cleaned up, I found a note tucked into my purse, in Harmony's handwriting. "Thank you for showing me what courage looks like. I'm leaving him, and I'm starting to paint again." I smiled, pinning the note to the gallery's inspiration board. Sometimes revenge doesn't look like what you expect. Sometimes it looks like freedom. "Mom, look!" Kylie pointed excitedly at the newspaper. "That's you!" The arts section featured a full-color spread about the collective's gallery opening. My centerpiece dominated the page, with Felicity's article detailing our artistic revolution in a small town. The photo captured all of us, arms linked, smiling with the kind of confidence I thought I'd lost forever. My phone buzzed. Damon's number. "What do you want?" I answered, stepping onto Cadence's balcony. "Have you seen what you're doing to my mother?" His voice was tight. "She's in tears, Elise. People are canceling their memberships to her arts foundation. Funny how consequences work, isn't it? This isn't you. The Elise I knew wouldn't. The Elise you knew died the day you left." I gripped the railing. "And this new version? She's done being silent." A knock at the door interrupted us. Cadence answered it, then called out urgently, "Elise, you need to see this." I hung up and rushed inside. Rebecca stood in the doorway, shaking. Her phone displayed a social media post, photos of her more controversial pieces alongside accusations of moral corruption and dangerous influences. The comments were vicious. "It's happening to all of us," she said. "Michaela's friends are reporting our social media accounts, calling our employers, even contacting our landlords." My own phone started flooding with notifications. Someone had posted old photos from my college days, twisted with suggestive captions and false stories. "She's trying to destroy us," Cadence said, scrolling through her phone. "Sarah just lost her coffee shop job. Maria's being questioned by the school board." "No," I said firmly. "We're not letting her win. Call everyone. Emergency meeting at Penny's. Now." Within an hour, the collective gathered in Penny's back garden. The fear was palpable, but so was the anger. "My landlord's threatening eviction," Maria said. "Apparently someone suggested I'm running an adult business from my apartment." "The school board's reviewing my contract," Rebecca added. "They're calling my art inappropriate for children." "Ladies," Penny's voice cut through the panic. "This is exactly what Michaela wants. Fear, division, surrender." "But what can we do?" Sarah asked. "She has all the power." "No," I stood up. "She has influence. We have truth. And numbers." Just then, an unexpected voice joined us. "And you have me." Harmony stepped into the garden, followed by Felicity. "Why should we trust you?" Rebecca demanded. "Because I have proof." Harmony held up her phone. Screenshots, emails, recordings, everything showing how Michaela manipulates people, including what she did to Elise and others before her. The garden erupted in discussion. Felicity examined Harmony's evidence with professional interest. "This is gold," she said, "but publishing it could be risky." "I don't care anymore," Harmony replied. "I watched her destroy my relationship with art. Then she tried to mold me into another one of her perfect society puppets. I'm done." My phone buzzed again. "Damon." "What now?" I answered. "Is Harmony with you?" He sounded different, worried. "Mother's losing it, Elise. She's talking about lawsuits, calling in favors. I've never seen her like this." "Good," I said. "Maybe she'll finally understand how it feels to lose control. Just be careful. She's not going to stop." As if on cue, our phones chimed simultaneously. A mass email from Michaela's Arts Foundation announced an emergency town hall meeting tomorrow night regarding the moral decay of our arts community. "Perfect," Penny smiled. "She's giving us exactly what we need, an audience." We spent the next hours planning. Felicity would prepare a story exposing Michaela's tactics. The collective would prepare a presentation of our work, focusing on its positive impact on the community. Harmony would speak publicly about her experiences. As everyone left, energized with purpose, I found myself alone with Harmony. "Why are you really helping us?" I asked. She touched one of my smaller paintings, a simple scene of Kylie painting. "Because this is real art. It makes people feel something true." She paused. "I was wrong to let Michaela convince me that love could be calculated like a business transaction." "Does Damon know you're here?" "He will." She smiled sadly. "We both need to stop letting others define our worth." Later that night, as Kylie slept surrounded by her stuffed animals, I received another text from an unknown number. "Watch your back. Tomorrow night won't go as planned. Michaela's got something big prepared. A friend." I forwarded it to Penny, who responded immediately. "Good. The bigger she makes it, the harder she'll fall." I walked to my easel, where a new piece was taking shape, a phoenix rising from ashes, but the ashes were torn canvas and broken paintbrushes. Around it, small figures reached up, catching sparks and turning them into stars. "What are you painting, Mommy?" Kylie's sleepy voice surprised me. "The future, baby," I said, lifting her onto my lap. "Want to help?" She picked up a brush, and together we added more stars to the darkness, each one a tiny act of defiance against those who would dim our light. The town hall buzzed with tension as people filed in. Michaela stood at the podium, arranging papers with trembling hands, while her supporters filled the front rows. The collective sat together on the left side, our bright clothes a stark contrast to their muted tones. "She's got the mayor here," Cadence whispered, nodding toward the stage, "and half the city council." "Good," Penny replied. "More witnesses." Felicity slipped into the seat beside me. "Articles ready to go live. Just waiting for the right moment." The lights dimmed, and Michaela tapped the microphone. "Thank you all for coming tonight. We're here to discuss a serious threat to our community's values." A slideshow started behind her, carefully selected images of our more provocative pieces, taken out of context. "These so-called artists are corrupting our town's cultural heritage." "That's my piece," Rebecca hissed. "She completely twisted its meaning." "And their leader," Michaela continued, clicking to a photo of me, clearly taken without my knowledge, "has a history of destructive behavior." The next slides showed social media posts I'd never made, emails I'd never written. My hands clenched into fists. "Furthermore," Michaela's voice rose, "these women are operating without proper permits, endangering our children with their radical ideas, and—" "That's enough." The voice rang out clear and firm. Harmony stood up from the back row. "Every word you're saying is a lie, and you know it." Michaela's face reddened. "Sit down, dear. You're confused." "No, I'm finally seeing clearly." Harmony walked to the center aisle. "Should I tell everyone about the fake social media accounts you created? Or how about the threatening calls you made to landlords and employers?" "Security!" Michaela called out, but no one moved. I stood up next. "Or should we discuss how you tried to take my daughter away because I wouldn't bow to your control?" One by one, the collective members rose, each sharing their story. Maria described the false complaints to the school board. Sarah detailed the lies told to her coffee shop employer. "This is ridiculous," Michaela sputtered. "I have proof." "Actually," Felicity stood, holding up her phone, "we have proof. Real proof. My article just went live, including recordings, screenshots, and sworn statements from dozens of people you've threatened over the years." The room erupted in murmurs as people pulled out their phones, reading the exposé in real time. "You can't do this to me," Michaela's voice cracked. "I built this town's art scene." "No," Penny walked to the podium. "You controlled it. There's a difference." She turned to address the crowd. "The real art scene is about community, growth, and truth. Let us show you." At her signal, the lights shifted, and hidden panels around the room dropped, revealing an impromptu gallery. Pieces from every collective member told stories of struggle, triumph, and human connection. "This is what art should be," Penny continued. "Not a weapon for social control, but a bridge between hearts." The mayor stood up, looking troubled. "These accusations against Michaela, they're very serious." "And true," a new voice added. Damon walked in, carrying a thick folder. I have copies of every email, every threat, every manipulated document, including what she planned to use to take Kylie away from her mother. Michaela staggered. Damon, how dare you? No, Mother, how dare you? You didn't just hurt Elise. You've hurt everyone in this room in some way, including me. The crowd's murmurs grew louder. People began moving away from Michaela, some joining the collective's side of the room. I move to immediately suspend Michaela from all civic positions pending investigation, a council member announced. Seconded, another added quickly. You can't. Michaela grabbed the podium. Without me, this town's culture will collapse into chaos. Actually, I stepped forward. It will finally be free to grow. The vote was quick and decisive. As Michaela was escorted out, still protesting, the energy in the room shifted. People gathered around our artwork asking questions, sharing stories of their own experiences. Mom! Kylie ran to me from where she'd been waiting with Terrence. Did we win? I lifted her up, hugging her tight. We did something better, baby. We told the truth. Later that night, the collective gathered at Penny's gallery. Harmony and Damon joined us, both looking lighter somehow. So what now? Sarah asked, raising her glass. Now, Penny smiled. We build something new, something real. My phone buzzed with a text from Felicity. Story's gone viral. State papers picking it up. You're trending. But it wasn't the headlines I cared about. It was the sight of Kylie drawing alongside Rebecca's daughter, of Maria planning new classes for her students, of Sarah sketching ideas for her coffee shop's new art space. You know what this means? Cadence nudged me, grinning. The Autumn Arts Festival needs new leadership. I looked around at these women who had become more than colleagues. They were family now. I think we can handle that. Outside, the evening sky blazed with colors that begged to be painted, and for the first time in months, I felt completely, wonderfully free. You can't be serious. I stared at the email on Penny's computer screen. The National Arts Foundation wants to feature the collective? Not just feature, Penny grinned. They want us to headline their autumn showcase in New York. 2 months had passed since the town hall showdown. The collective had grown from 20 members to over 50, with artists coming from neighboring towns to join our movement. There's more, Penny clicked another email. Remember that developer who wanted to tear down the old theater for luxury condos? They're offering it to us instead, as a permanent gallery and teaching space. My coffee cup clattered against its saucer. How can we possibly afford? State arts funding, Felicity breezed in, waving a document. Just got approved. Turns out when you expose corruption in the arts community, people want to support positive change. The gallery door chimed. Harmony walked in, carrying a canvas covered in brown paper. Is that what I think it is? Cadence asked. Harmony nodded, carefully unwrapping her first completed painting since leaving Damon. I'm not sure it's good enough for... Stop, I interrupted. That's Michaela talking. Show us. The painting took our breath away. A woman emerging from a chrysalis. But the chrysalis was made of society pages and fashion magazines, crumbling away to reveal vibrant colors beneath. It's perfect for the showcase, Penny declared. Speaking of which, we need to discuss the opening night. We gathered around the planning table where Sarah was arranging a timeline. The developer's letting us use the theater for one night before renovations begin. We'll transform it into a multi-level gallery space. And look who RSVP'd, Felicity pulled up the guest list. Every major art critic in the state, 3 museum curators, and... The door chimed again. Damon walked in, looking uncomfortable. Can we talk? He asked me quietly. Outside, the autumn air was crisp. We walked in silence for a moment. Mother's leaving town, he finally said. Moving to Florida to live with her sister. Good. I'm sorry, Elise, for everything. For not seeing what was happening, for letting her control everything, for... Stop. I faced him. I'm not interested in apologies. What I care about is Kylie. That's why I'm here. I'm withdrawing the custody challenge. You're an amazing mother, and what we did, it wasn't right. Before I could respond, my phone rang. It was Maria. Turn on the local news, now. We rushed back inside just as Penny switched on the TV. Michaela was holding a press conference outside her mansion. These women are frauds, she declared, mascara running. I have proof their funding is based on lies. The autumn showcase will be a disaster, mark my words. What proof? Harmony scoffed. Doesn't matter, Felicity was already typing on her laptop. No one believes her anymore. In fact, yes, the Arts Foundation just tweeted their full support of the collective. She's desperate, Penny said, which makes her dangerous. We need to make this showcase absolutely perfect. For the next 2 weeks, we worked nonstop. The old theater came alive with scaffolding and lighting rigs. Artists worked side by side, creating installations that flowed from one to another. Even Kylie contributed, her children's art workshop space becoming a favorite feature. The night before the showcase, I found Harmony touching up her painting. Scared? I asked. Terrified, she admitted, but the good kind of terrified, like standing on the edge of something amazing. You know she'll try something tomorrow night. Let her. Harmony's brush moved confidently. We're stronger together. Dawn broke on showcase day with unexpected news. Michaela had posted online that she'd be holding a competing event at her home, featuring traditional, respectable art. Perfect, Penny said when she heard. Let her show exactly what we're breaking free from. The theater filled with last-minute preparations. Sarah directed lighting crews while Rebecca coordinated the catering. Maria's students arrived to help with setup, their energy infectious. Mom! Kylie called from her workshop space. Look what we made! She and the other children had created a massive collage of butterflies, each one carrying messages of hope and change. That's going in the main entrance, Penny decided. It's exactly what this night is about. As evening approached, I stepped outside for air. The line of people waiting to enter stretched around the block. News vans parked nearby, their cameras already rolling. Damon appeared beside me. Need any last-minute help? Actually, I smiled. We could use someone to manage the coat check. He laughed. From controlling husband to coat check guy. Seems fair. Inside, the collective gathered for one final moment together before doors opened. Penny raised her glass. Whatever happens tonight, remember this. Art isn't about power or control. It's about truth. Our truth. Now let's show them what that looks like. We clinked glasses as the doors opened and the first guests entered. Through the windows, I could see Michaela's empty driveway across town, and I felt something unexpected. Pity. But there was no time for that now. Our moment had arrived and we were ready to shine. The old theater pulsed with energy as hundreds of people moved through the transformed space. Critics scribbled in notebooks, photographers captured every detail, and collectors huddled in corners, discussing prices. They love it, Cadence squeezed my arm, pointing to a group of museum curators examining Rebecca's installation. They actually love it. A commotion near the entrance drew our attention. Michaela had arrived, wearing an evening gown that seemed excessive even for her. She wasn't alone. Is that the state tax auditor? Penny whispered, recognizing the stern-faced man beside Michaela. Ladies and gentlemen, Michaela's voice carried across the room. Before you waste any more time here, you should know that this entire operation is under investigation for financial irregularities. The room quieted. My heart raced as the auditor stepped forward, opening his briefcase. Actually, a new voice cut through the tension. That investigation was completed this morning. A woman in a sharp suit emerged from the crowd. I'm Amanda Davis, head of the State Arts Commission, and the collective passed with flying colors. Michaela's face fell. But you said? I said I'd look into their finances, the auditor replied. I did. They're exemplary. You, on the other hand. He turned to face Michaela. Have some explaining to do about certain discrepancies in your foundation's accounts. This is ridiculous, Michaela's voice rose. I built this town's art scene. I decided who succeeded and who... And that's exactly the problem, Amanda interrupted. Art isn't about one person's control. It's about community, growth, and opportunity, which is why the Commission is proud to announce a full partnership with the collective. Applause erupted. Michaela staggered backward, bumping into Harmony's painting. Before anyone could react, she grabbed it. You want community? She snarled. Here's your community. She moved to tear the canvas. Stop! Harmony's voice cracked like a whip. She stepped forward, tears in her eyes but head held high. That painting is about you, Michaela, about how you tried to make me into your perfect society puppet, how you did the same to countless others. Look at it. Really look." The room held its breath as Michaela stared at the painting, the woman emerging from her chrysalis of social expectations and false pretenses. Michaela's hands trembled. "I was only trying to maintain standards." "No," I stepped forward. "You were trying to maintain control, but art isn't about control. It's about freedom." "Freedom?" She laughed bitterly. "Look what freedom got you, living in a friend's apartment, raising your daughter alone." "Building a movement," Penny added. "Inspiring others, creating real change." "And not alone," Damon spoke up from where he'd been watching. "None of us are alone anymore. That's what you never understood, Mother. True art brings people together. It doesn't divide them." Michaela looked around the room, seeing perhaps for the first time how many people stood against her. Her grip on the painting loosened. "Security will escort you out," Amanda said quietly. "And the commission will be in touch about those financial discrepancies." As Michaela was led away, the energy in the room transformed. People moved closer to Harmony's painting, seeing it with new understanding. Critics who'd been skeptical began writing furiously in their notebooks. "Mom!" Kylie ran up, her face glowing. "The nice lady from New York wants to buy my butterfly picture. Can I sell it?" I looked at Penny, who nodded encouragingly. "Of course you can, sweetie. How much do you want for it?" $1 million, she declared, making everyone laugh. "How about we start with something more reasonable?" the collector smiled, kneeling to Kylie's level. "And maybe you can make more for my gallery in Manhattan?" The rest of the evening passed in a blur of sales, interviews, and congratulations. The National Arts Foundation representative announced they were doubling their support for our New York showcase. 3 museums requested traveling exhibitions. Near midnight, as the crowd thinned, the collective gathered in Kylie's butterfly workshop space. "Final count," Felicity announced, checking her tablet. 87 pieces sold, total sales over $200,000, and that's not counting the commissions and exhibition deals. "But more importantly," Penny added, "look around. Look what we built together." We did. The theater hummed with possibility. Where there had been emptiness, now there was life. Where there had been silence, now there was conversation. Where there had been fear, now there was courage. "I just got a text from the auditor," Cadence said. "Michaela's foundation is being dissolved. All assets will be transferred to community arts programs." "Poetic justice," Rebecca smiled. "No," I corrected, watching Kylie show another child how to make paper butterflies. "Just justice." Outside, the autumn night was clear and cool. Stars sparkled above the old theater, now transformed into something new and vital. Tomorrow would bring challenges, renovations, programs to plan, a New York showcase to prepare for. But tonight, we celebrated not just victory over one person's control, but the birth of something larger than ourselves. A community, a movement, a revolution of color and truth and freedom. And it was beautiful. "Perfect." I stepped back from the newly installed sign. "The Collective Arts Center, where every voice matters." The old theater's facade gleamed in the morning sun, its Art Deco details restored to their former glory. "Ready for the big day?" Penny appeared beside me, carrying 2 coffee cups. As ready as I'll ever be, I accepted the coffee, watching students arrive for our first official classes. Young artists, retired hobbyists, and everyone in between streamed through the doors. "Guess who just pulled up?" Cadence called from inside. Through the front windows, I saw Harmony helping an elderly woman from a car. Michaela looked smaller somehow, less imposing in simple clothes without her usual perfect hair and makeup. "Are you sure about this?" Penny asked quietly. "Everyone deserves a chance to find their voice," I replied, remembering my own journey. "Even her." Michaela entered hesitantly, clutching a worn sketchbook. I saw the flyer for beginners' classes." "Welcome," I said, surprising myself with how much I meant it. "Maria's teaching basic techniques in Studio 3. Before you go," Harmony touched her former mother-in-law's arm, "I saved you a spot next to me." Tears welled in Michaela's eyes as she followed Harmony upstairs. Through the open studio door, I heard Maria's warm welcome, the scratch of charcoal on paper, the murmur of encouragement. Mom! Kylie burst through the door. The art supply truck is here. Can I help unpack? Hold on, wild thing, I laughed. First, show our guest your new piece. Amanda from the State Arts Commission stood examining Kylie's latest work, a vibrant mixed media piece combining painting and collage. This is extraordinary, Amanda marveled. How old did you say she is? 8 going on 30, I smiled. She's teaching a children's workshop next week. Following in her mother's footsteps, Damon said from the doorway. He carried a box of supplies. Where do you want these? Studio 4, Penny directed. Rebecca's sculpture class starts in 20 minutes. The morning unfolded like a flower opening to the sun. In Studio 1, Sarah taught senior citizens to work with watercolors. Studio 2 hosted a photography workshop for teenagers. Upstairs, Felicity documented everything for a feature on community art spaces. During lunch break, I found Michaela sitting alone in the courtyard, staring at her sketch. May I? I gestured to the empty seat. She nodded, turning her sketchbook so I could see. The drawing was rough but honest, a small bird breaking free from a cage. I never told anyone, she said softly, but I used to paint. Before I married into society, before I became what I became, I thought I had to choose between art and respect. And now? Now I realize respect isn't about controlling art, it's about letting it breathe. From inside, we heard laughter. Kylie was showing other kids how to make her famous butterflies, their small hands creating wings of hope and possibility. We're having an evening showcase next week, I said. Student works, if you'd like to contribute. I'm not ready. She shook her head. But maybe someday. The afternoon brought more classes, more voices finding their strength through art. Terrence helped install new lighting in the gallery space, while Cadence organized the upcoming exhibition schedule. As evening approached, the collective gathered in what we now called the Heart, the central space where all the studios connected. First day stats, Felicity announced. 12 classes, 147 students, ages 8 to 82. Not bad for a bunch of rebellious artists. And wait until they see what's next, Penny grinned. The National Arts Foundation called. They want us to develop a template for community art centers across the country. Speaking of next, I pulled out a stack of papers. The State Commission approved our youth scholarship program, art supplies and classes for any kid who wants to learn, regardless of ability to pay. To new beginnings, Sarah raised her paint-stained coffee cup. And old endings, Harmony added, watching her former mother-in-law leave with a lighter step than she'd arrived with. Later, as I locked up, I found Kylie in my studio, adding final touches to her butterfly wall. Each paper wing carried a message of change, of growth, of possibility. Mom, she said thoughtfully, are we rich now? I laughed. Not in money, baby. But in everything that matters? Yeah, we're pretty rich. Outside, the sunset painted the sky in colors no artist could perfectly capture, but we'd never stop trying. Tomorrow would bring new classes, new challenges, new opportunities to help others find their voice. But tonight, standing in our transformed space, surrounded by the evidence of what happens when people dare to create change, I felt something settle in my soul. Not an ending exactly. More like a beginning that kept beginning, every day, with every brushstroke, every sculpture, every photograph, every voice that finally dared to speak its truth. And that was the most beautiful masterpiece of all.